Making money online should be the easiest thing ever. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can make over 21,000 every single week with high ticket info. So if you guys have no idea what high ticket info actually is, I'm going to break that down a little bit later, but just so you know, I'm not talking out of my ass. Here we have a couple deals we closed earlier this year. We have a 4K deal, a 3K, a couple more 4K deals right here, and two 1K deals as well. As you can see, I've just blurred out the sensitive information, but sales ID is different for every single one, just so again, you don't think I'm BSing you guys. But essentially, this is all done with a high ticket info business. And in this video, I'm going to teach you guys exactly how you can do the same thing as we did this week earlier this year, making over 21,000. So essentially, why is a high ticket info business so good? First of all, like I said, if you have no idea what a high ticket info business actually is, it's essentially just running a digital product where you're kind of selling information online for a high ticket price point. Okay. So, why is this actually so good? Well, there's a couple different elements to it. First things first, unlike drop shipping, Amazon FBA, TikTok Shop, or whatever business model out there nowadays that is so popular, you don't really need any big or real capital to start a high ticket info business. And that is super, super key, because what this means is, paired with the second point, it has such high profit margins. So what this really means is you don't need real like a lot of money to actually get started. And also a lot of the money you make goes directly into your pocket and not doesn't need to be spent again on ads or whatever. So I'll be real with you guys. The main expenses you really have, especially in the beginning phases of things, it's not even expenses, it's actually just fees. And it's payment processing fees, which don't even count until you're actually getting paid. So very, very high profit margins, dude. Like, there's basically no fucking way you're not making money with the high ticket info business, as long as you actually know the proper way of actually doing it, right? So if you're doing it completely wrong way, which I've seen a lot of people do, you're not going to get a lot of or make a lot of money off of it. But if you know how to properly run a high ticket info business, you should be printing basically. So also, it's a digital product, right? So you don't need to stress about fulfilling anything physically. There's nothing being shipped. You don't need to rely on different suppliers out in China or whatever. It's so easy because it's all digitally done. So the fulfillment really is all digital, and it's basically just like oriented a little bit around your time, but you can also automate that later on. But in the beginning stages, don't even worry about it. You just focus on everything digitally. Also, why I believe this is probably like the number one thing and the number one way to actually make money, especially nowadays in 2025 going into 2026, is because you don't need a big team, nor do you really need a big brand. And this is so key, because you see a lot of people, especially like in the high ticket info space, just talk about how you need to build a personal brand, how you need to do this. You can't do this unless you like actually have a big brand, a big following and whatnot. And that is completely false. It is so false that I am making a lot of money off of this with a super small following. Videos that are getting 1 to 2,000 views are still making me over $10,000, which is like just absurd, because you would think you would need a big personal brand and have hundreds and thousands of followers or get a bunch of different views to be able to even have people that purchase stuff from you. Not the case. And I'm going to explain why later on, which is like so sick, because this video is pretty much going to be the full blueprint on what you guys really need to know and worry about to even run this yourself. So that's kind of why it's so good. But then you're kind of left with the question like, okay, what do I actually need to do this, right? And it's very, very simple. I've written it down right here. What you need is, first of all, a proper skill set. Okay, so you need to be, I guess, quote unquote, an expert in at least something, right? You need some sort of skill set because you have to remember it's high ticket info. So we are selling information online for a high ticket price point, which means it needs to be worth it. Like, we're not out here bullshitting, doing some stupid shit. Like, we actually are giving valuable information that people are willing to pay for. So they're actually like getting results off of the information we give them, right? So the skill you have, the expert, whatever expert you're in, it needs to be good quality shit. Like, bro, you can't be finessing guys or just like saying you're going to help people with something you have no idea on how you're actually going to help them. That doesn't make sense. And then you're just a fucking guru, right? And we're not here to do that. So you need to have some sort of skill. Think about, or I'm actually going to walk you guys through later how to find your skill and stuff, but make sure you have some sort of skill, something you're an expert in. Second thing you need is authority and trust in the space, okay? You need authority and trust within whatever you're portraying. Otherwise, there's no way people are actually going to buy from you, right? Why the fuck would anybody buy? I'll just be real. This is a harsh truth, but I'll be real. Most people don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about your offer. They don't really care about you. And you probably don't care about other people as well, right? So it comes full circle. But when you have authority and trust in the space, people are way more likely to actually purchase something from you and buy from you because they believe in you. You have the authority. They see you're an expert in what you do, and they also trust you to actually give them, or they're going to give you their money because they trust that what you bring to the table is actually going to get them the results, right? So you need to trust and authority, and with that, you obviously need to bring results to the table. So I'm not saying that you need to have a bunch of results in the back end like I showed you earlier. Like, this is all cool to have if you've already done it, but if you don't really have those results because you've kind of just started, you don't need to really have those results on a table. But what you need is you need to make sure that you can actually get them the results, right? So if you're getting customers, you need to make sure that what you're doing and your service and your information is actually going to bring your customer, it's going to bring them results, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. That's essentially all you really need to run a high ticket info business. It's so easy, it's so key. And as you can see, there's no real need for big capital. So let me walk you guys through exactly how you can implement this for yourself so you can pretty much make a shit ton of money moving forward. So number one thing you need to do before you can even jump into any of this, like I said, you need to find your skill. Most of you watching, maybe you already have a high ticket info business and you're just looking at how to optimize it. I'm going to show you that as well, so don't worry. But this is just if you are kind of on the fence, you don't really understand how this works, I'm just going to explain it all. Find your skill, okay? First things first, a lot of you guys already are messing up here because you already have, like I said, an info business, but your skill is like completely wrong. And the reason why is because it's not results based. It needs to be results based. You need to bring some sort of results for your clients. Otherwise, there's no real point in actually buying. And trust me, because I've tried scaling other offers, which have just teach people how to do fucking social media and whatnot. And those offers tend to die out pretty quickly because they don't really give a specific result, right? If you're managing somebody's social media, it's like, yeah, cool, you're just managing somebody, but you're basically just working a 9 to 5. You're good at managing social medias, but it's not really a good skill, right? You can find that skill and teach others how to manage the social media account if that's what they want to do. Cool. But you want to make sure that the skill you have actually brings some sort of result. That's the number one thing. The second thing is you want to identify pain points within your skill or whatever you are kind of trying to teach people, right? Because you have a skill you're very good at. What you're going to do is you're going to teach this skill, you're going to teach this information that you have about this skill to others so they can apply it to themselves and pretty much do what you know how to do. So to find that, or to be able to actually make an offer or sell information about this, you need to identify pain points, Because like I talked about earlier, people don't give a fuck about you, nor do they care about your offer. So what do you actually need? Well, you need to solve problems, right? That's the key. You need to solve problems, because if you don't solve problems, essentially all money is made through solving problems. It's kind of crazy to believe, but people just think they can make money and money's just gonna happen. No, money only happens because you're solving problems. The bigger the problems you solve, the more money you make. It's really that simple. It's not that hard to understand, but it is hard to apply, right? Because you have to actually solve problems. You can't just be acting like you're solving problems. We have to solve problems, which means you need to bring results. So identify a pain point within your audience, right? I'm trying to think of examples. Again, I don't want to just use the basic like fucking what fitness example. If you're like a fitness coach and you're gonna teach people how to lose weight, it's like, yeah, buy my program, right? Like that's a basic ass example. But essentially what you want to do, I can just use myself, right? Like we have a pain point right here where I am teaching others how to essentially do the same exact thing that I'm doing, how to start a high ticket info business. I've scaled other people's high ticket info business. I've had my own high ticket info business, or I have my own high ticket info business, and now I'm teaching others how to have their how to make their own, right? So that's identifying a problem where we have broke people that have no idea how to make a lot of money. Here I'm teaching you guys how to make a lot of money with very little effort, as long as you have some information and a skill set about something you can teach others. It's really that simple, right? So I have identified a pain point where people lack money, they have a lot of time, I guess, or not a lot of time, etc., right? It's so easy to do high ticket info that essentially anybody that's trying to make money online has a pain point of being broke. They want to help their family, they want to buy cool cars, they want to have a cool apartment, whatever, right? There's a bunch of different pain points, but you want to try to get as specific as possible and solve the problems that they have, right? So for instance, I've worked with a lot of people that have high ticket info businesses, but they have no idea how to scale them or how to actually optimize them, right? That's a big pain point because they're only making 7K a month. They're stuck at 7K a month because they can't make more. I'm here optimizing their offer and their whole info business so they can actually get to 20K a month, because if they get to 20K a month, then they can retire their parents. And if they can retire their parents, now they feel fulfilled, right? That's a proper pain point. So look at it that way and try to go as deep as possible. Once you have that pain point, you obviously want to create an offer around the pain points that they have. So in this case, I've written this down, right? You want to make sure your offer, like I said, brings the result and actually has a high likelihood of achievement, right? So it needs to be an offer tailored around your skill and the pain point and the problems that you're solving, which still has a high likelihood of achievement. So when I say creating an offer around this, it essentially means you're creating a program, you're creating a community, you're creating a course, whatever it might be. You just create an offer around this whole thing, and now people get the results because they just follow the information and the program and the offer that you've made. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. If you guys need more information about how to make a perfect offer, I can make a video on that. Doesn't matter, hit me up. It's all good. Just let me know down in the comments, whatever, and we should be good. Next thing is going to be generating leads, right? Because obviously you can find the scale, you can identify this, you can have an offer, but if you have nobody that's actually seeing you or nobody that's actually going to buy from you, then you're just kind of stuck in these 3 points and you can never actually make it sell. So you need to generate leads. How do we generate leads? Very, very easy. It's actually funny because this is probably the number one thing most people struggle with when it comes to having an info business, and it's generating leads. Now, What is so difficult about generating leads? It's because everybody does it in the wrong way. Everybody's trying to go viral. Everybody's trying to get a lot of views. That doesn't help. And I'm going to let you know why that doesn't help, and not why that, or it helps, but why that's not it. The reason why going viral or having a lot of views doesn't necessarily equal a lot of money in info is because you are not optimizing your content or everything you're making. It's not optimized for your ideal client, right? And I have a great example of this. It's the ego. I have such a great example, which I've teach so many of the guys that I'm working with. It's the case of when they see less views, they think they're doing something wrong. And sometimes that's the case. But sometimes less views is actually better. And the reason why, which is actually crazy, is because most of the time when it comes to high ticket info, guys that have less followers are usually making more money than the guys that have more followers. Now, bear with me. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but it's actually true. Because if you have a guy that has 5,000 followers, most likely those 5,000 followers are super loyal. They're almost cult-like, and they're going to buy almost everything he has. And that's why he makes more money than the guy that has 50,000 followers, but they're just all random 50,000 followers from a bunch of viral videos that give no value and makes no sense. See what I'm saying? Because it's not optimized to actually convert and have leads that are high quality and actually qualified and interested for the service that you have, right? Which means you want to niche down as much as you can, so you can actually get leads that make sense for your offer. I have a great example. I've been scaling an offer pretty recently, which had a very, very big following. But the reason why we couldn't make a lot of money was because most of his following were just kids. People that were like 16, 17, 18. There's no way they had $4,000 being 15 years old, right? We didn't even like take in anybody under the age of 18, which is crazy because that's where you can see like your audience isn't really like the ideal audience to actually buy something high ticket from you. So how do you actually generate leads? Well, you do it by creating very, very simple content, no BS, straight to the point. It's basically like the easiest thing to do. You can just make videos like I'm doing right now. A lot of people are blowing up making these types of videos, just spitting facts, showing how much information you have about something, and building that trust, building the authority around what you're doing, creating simple content around it. And from there, you get calls booked in on your calendar. Link in the description, whatever. Book a call, see if we can help. It's basically just a sales call. You walk them through the whole process, see where they're at, see where they want to be. Does your offer make sense? Can you actually help? If you can, you pitch them and you hopefully close them. Obviously, you're not going to close all the sales calls you're on, but from the call, you close them, and from there, you just fulfill the service, the offer that you have. You give them access to everything. You jump on weekly calls, whatever your service is. You do that, and the money's made. The money's made beforehand, which is nice because that way you actually get paid before you even start the fulfillment. Super, super easy, super, super simple. Follow this 6-step process. If you do, you're going to be printing money with high ticket info. If you want more details on how to actually run a high ticket info business, you can always reach out to me on IG or just through my email, whatever. I'll see if I can help you. If you want direct help from me, sure. If not, just follow this process yourself and you should be printing money. Okay? Make a shit ton of money with high ticket info. Please let me know how it goes. Catch you guys next time.